Today we are talking about Ghanaian traditional weddings. We are talking about the customs and traditions and the reasons for why we do what we do. So if you are planning a Ghanaian traditional wedding, or if you know anyone who is planning a Ghanaian traditional wedding, you want to stop whatever you're doing and watch this video. I get a lot of brides who come to me and say, I need help with planning my engagement. And I have to say that the engagement ceremony, or what is known as the engagement, is actually not an engagement in the English sense. It is a full marriage ceremony that is recognized under the laws of Ghana. At the end of this process, you are officially married. Now, inside of the Akan home, the process is in 4 different parts. So I'm going to break it down so that you understand what is expected of you. The first part is the introduction. The second part is the knocking, which we know as the kokoko. And the third part is the traditional wedding itself. And the fourth part is the blessing and the signing. So I'm going to take them one by one and explain to you what all of these 4 parts mean and what you should expect at every point. So the first point, when you decide that you want to ask for a woman's hand in marriage, is you have to let your intentions known to your own family. So before you go ahead and ask for a woman's hand in marriage, your family will have to book an appointment with the bride's family. At this appointment, the ebusuapanyin, or the elder who is representative of your own family, will go ahead and let your intentions be known. Now, you can be at this meeting or choose not to be at this meeting. It is not required that you are there as the groom. The ebusuapanyin or the elder can represent you, or perhaps your uncles or any significant person in your family can represent you at this meeting. Now, it is at this meeting that a date is set for the knocking, or the kokoko, which is the second step in this process. Knocking here is symbolic. In a Ghanaian home, before you can enter somebody's home, you have to physically knock on the door and be welcomed in. Just like any other home, really. You have to knock on the door and be welcomed in. So that is what the knocking is, or the kokoko in our local dialect. It is symbolic of you knocking on someone's door and being welcomed into the home. This ceremony is held to formally announce your wedding plans to the bride's family. Now, the most important part of the kokoko, or the knocking ceremony, is the presentation of the tuinsa. Tuinsa can be loosely translated as head drinks. Now, this is usually 2 or 3 bottles of schnapps and wine, palm wine, which can also be substituted for cash. Now, once the bride's family have accepted the tuinsa, the bride is then called in and asked for her approval. So once the bride says that, yes, I am happy to go ahead, I know Kofi, I have known Kofi for a while, and I am happy to go ahead with this marriage ceremony. This is when the marriage list is presented to the groom's family. So the marriage list, which is what a lot of young men run away from, it's a token of appreciation to the bride's family to say, thank you for taking care of this woman. Thank you for raising such a beautiful, respectful young woman. Thank you for accepting me into your family. So traditionally, the marriage list, or the bride price, is a list that includes the dowry, which is usually a sum of money, the tuinsa, which is another 2 or 3 bottles of alcohol. It also includes a suitcase, which is filled with wax prints, jewelry, shoes, gifts for the bride. The list will also include a cash sum and some more alcohol for the bride's father, And usually you will also be expected to offer the bride's mother a pair of sandals, some cash and some gifts as well. If the bride has any brothers, then you will also be requested to present the akontasekan. If the bride doesn't have any brothers, then this akontasekan can be presented to the bride's male cousins. And this is usually a sum of money for each of her brothers or her male cousins. The list will also include a cash sum that you were supposed to present to the bride for her to start her own business. Sometimes you will also be asked to include things like cooking utensils and other gifts for the bride. The third process is the traditional wedding itself, the main event. Now, on the day of the traditional wedding, the bride's family are usually expected to be seated before the groom's family arrive. Once the groom's family arrive, they will have to declare that they are here. So usually what will happen is there will be an ochiame on both sides representing both families. So the ago that you hear inside of the videos is usually just indicative of the arrival of the groom's family. Once they have arrived, and usually there's an ochiame as well, who is a representative of the bride's family who will coordinate everything. So the ochiame from the bride's family will be the person to officially welcome the groom's family into the bride's home. Once they are there, they'll be asked what their mission is. What is the agenda? Why are you here? Okay, and usually that conversation will be accompanied by a lot of fanfare and a lot of interesting conversation where they will have to explain that they have seen a beautiful woman inside of this home. Their son is looking to marry this woman. This is when they will present all of the gifts that have been previously indicated inside of the marriage list. Now, once all of these gifts have been presented, and with the marriage list, like I said before, it is a token. This is not an opportunity for your parents to extort money from your groom or your husband-to-be. It is just symbolic of their appreciation, for being accepted into your family. However, in saying that, if the groom is very wealthy, or comes from a family which is very well-to-do, they, out of their own discretion, can then decide that, they want to multiply these items. So maybe instead of 6 pieces of wax print, they can decide to present 20 pieces of wax print as an example. But that is solely at their discretion. So usually this is what will happen. They will present, the groom's family will present all of these gifts. Once they have presented the gifts, the groom, if the family haven't officially met the groom yet, the groom will be welcomed in. He will be introduced officially to the bride's family. The bride will then be welcomed in. So the bride will come in usually with, if she has any sisters or female cousins or her friends, again, amidst a lot of fanfare and a lot of music, a lot of dancing to celebrate the entire occasion. She will usually also go around the room to shake the hands of the groom's family, members of the groom's family. And it's just another way of welcoming them into their home. She may even kneel when she gets to the groom's mother or the groom's father, and it's just all a sign of respect. So once the bride has come in and she's been introduced to both families, she will be asked if she is happy for the gifts to be accepted.
Okay, that departure mate. Nyama na kasa na meji yache.
Now, I get a lot of questions about why the bride has to say yes 3 times. The reason why she has to answer 3 times is also symbolic. It's a way of saying that she knows exactly what she is doing. She is not being forced into this marriage. She is getting married off of her own consent. And everyone present at the ceremony is witness to this. So once she has said yes 3 times, what will usually also happen inside of the Akan home is that the ebusuapanyi or the elder who is representing the bride's family will usually present the bride to the ebusuapanyi or the elder from the groom's family. This is also symbolic. She is being presented for the ebusuapanyi from the groom's family to examine her. Okay, so usually there'll be an exchange in tree or fanti where the ebusuapanyi will be asked, do you see this woman? And he will say yes. Is there anything wrong with her? And he will say no. Do you see any scars on her? And he will say no. And usually it will be followed by, as you can see, our daughter is healthy, there's nothing wrong with her, and so we expect that as she is being taken away into marriage, that she'll be well looked after. And the ebusuapanyi in this instance then becomes a witness or a guarantor, for the health and well-being of the bride. It is to say that he has to ensure that the groom takes care of her and does not in any way maltreat her. He will usually also give a word of advice to the groom to say, Kofi, Kojo, Kwame, as you are going into this marriage, please do not go and disgrace us. So once he has, taken the bride's hand, the ebusuapanyi from the groom's family will then present the bride to the groom. This is when the celebration officially begins. Now, if the couple and both families are Christian, usually it will also be followed by a blessing. And that's them being married in the presence of both of their families and in the presence of God. Now, if the couple do not plan to also have a white wedding, and I have to say again that you do not have to have a white wedding after a traditional wedding. It's a personal choice. So if you do decide that you also still want to have a white wedding after the ceremony, then that's fine. But if you decide that you just want to have the one traditional wedding, then usually a representative from the Registrar General's Department will also be present at the ceremony. Now, if you are planning for a representative from the Registrar General's Department to be here, you have to ensure that you give notice 21 working days before your ceremony. The representative will coordinate the signing of the marriage certificate and also be a witness or bear witness to your marriage. So that's it. That's you now officially married. And there usually will also be a reception to celebrate the ceremony where food and drinks will be served. What also used to happen is a top being served to everyone. The eto is also symbolic, and it was just there to signify that what God has put together, let no man put asunder. Because once you've mixed oil with yam or plantain, there's no way that you can pull it apart. And there was also eggs as part of the meal. And the eggs were to symbolize a new birth and also to symbolize fertility. So if you've seen anybody serving a tot and eggs after their traditional marriage, this is what it means. This is the process in an Akan home. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section if you do something a little bit differently in your own tribe. If you have enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and do subscribe, as I'll be sharing a lot more about weddings here in Ghana. Thank you for watching and see you same time next week. Bye-bye.